Gravitas, powered by Skoda, made of smart imagination.
Let's start with images of a victory parade. This is from an undisclosed location in Afghanistan, and I must warn you, the images are unsettling. These are Taliban suicide bombers marching in unison, carrying a white flag with the Shahada or the Islamic oath printed in black letters. In English, it translates to this: there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is the messenger of God. This flag has now replaced Afghanistan's tricolour, and it marks the 30th time, 30th time, that Afghanistan's flag has been changed in the last century. 102 years to be precise, 30 flags for this country. This is the latest, the black and white one. These flag bearers were followed by a procession of suicide vests, rockets, barrel bombs, car explosives, armoured vehicles and other security installations of light weaponry. Taliban leaders watched from a makeshift stand. The procession lasted for at least 40 minutes, and all of it was broadcast on the national television of Afghanistan. Another such parade took place in Kandahar. This was a few days back. The Taliban's victory lap, brought to you by Joe Biden, sponsored by American taxpayers. What you see is a long line of green American Humvees being driven in single file by the Taliban in Kandahar. This is their headquarters, also their ideological birthplace, Kandahar. The Taliban parading on a highway, an American Black Hawk helicopter buzzing overhead. They're cocking a snook at the world, at America and its NATO allies. Reports say a former Afghan army pilot flew this chopper. The Taliban don't have skilled pilots, you see. The chopper carried a Taliban flag. It dropped confetti from the air. And men wrapped in headscarves were made to wave beneath. The procession soon reached the main city, where it was welcomed by supporters. These people had gathered at the Kandahar cricket stadium. They listened to speeches and victory songs, which heaped praise on the Taliban and poured scorn on the United States.
Our common enemy, who vowed to bring economic prosperity to our land, failed to do so. They claim to bring a civilized system. Go and take a look at the airport where all the planes are left in the middle.
I congratulate all the Muslims, specifically those from Kandahar, on this much anticipated victory. May Allah Almighty bless this victory. The victory that we have achieved today is for Allah's will and to spread Allah's deen on this land. May Islam spread to the entire world so that all the countries have an Islamic system.
You heard that. May Islam spread to the entire world. As this warning echoed in Kandahar, 500 kilometers away in Herat, Afghan women were out on the streets protesting for their rights and security. They carried out a march outside the governor's office, chanting work and peace. Same story in Afghanistan's capital, Kabul. Women out on the streets protesting for their rights, calling upon the world to ensure they don't lose their jobs. They say women form the majority of the population in Afghanistan, and their fate must not be left to the Taliban's whims.
They must make sure that women participation in their government. We know that women form a majority of the population of Afghanistan. If they are not prepared in areas like education, health and politics, and do not have a role in these areas in our society, so the world will not recognize us. They will not hear our voice.
The Taliban are trying to make the right noises on women's rights, but virtually no one believes them yet. They also talk about inclusivity in government formation. It will be their first test, really, and we're not expecting the results in a hurry. The government was supposed to be unveiled today. That hasn't happened. The Taliban, you see, are split. Reports say the Rehbari Shura, which is the decision-making body of the Taliban, is divided over certain appointments. But hoardings and slogans have come up in Kabul now, announcing that the government will be formed soon. These images were posted on Twitter by Ahmadullah Muttaqi. He's the Taliban's media chief. Yes, they have one now. And yes, Twitter has not blocked his account. They only have issues with Donald Trump. They won't deplatform the Taliban because free speech. Anyway, the Taliban media chief has shared a video. It shows that the Kabul airport has resumed operations. This afternoon, the first plane from the UAE landed in Afghanistan. It came bearing food and medical supplies donated by the UAE. What about foreign embassies in Kabul? Most of them have drawn their shutters. Some have been relocated to Qatar, with the exception of Pakistan, China and Russia. And India, yes, the Indian embassy in Kabul remains operational. It is functioning with some local employees who, according to the Indian Foreign Ministry, are getting their salaries by the Government of India on time. Also in focus is the Panjshir Valley, the heart of the anti-Taliban resistance. What's happening there? The Taliban say they've surrounded the valley, also trying to negotiate a settlement with the resistance forces. Negotiating with guns and firepower, of course. The resistance forces say that they have inflicted heavy casualties on the Taliban. They also claim to have captured a Talib who was found with a Pakistani identity card. Look at this, the image on your screen. It was released on the social media handle of the Northern Alliance. Look carefully at what it reads. Excise and Taxation Department of the Government of Punjab, which is Pakistan's largest province. If the world needed more proof of who is fighting in the Taliban ranks, here it is.
Right now we are in the border of the Kapisa and Panjshir province. These are the resistance forces of the Panjshir Valley. They are resisting against the invaders that they are coming to Panjshir, that we are calling the Taliban. So we have a lot of equipments with ourselves. We will defend from our valley, from our territory until we have one drop of blood in our body. So we will resist until we martyr in here.
This is Afghanistan 19 days after the fall of Kabul. The Taliban showing off their strength, calling for Islamic unity across the world. Afghan women protesting for their rights. Resistance forces putting up a fight to restore democracy and freedom on their land. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.
Gravitas, powered by Skoda, made of smart imagination.